Do you have a car that you need to wash? And do you have a neighbour that you just want to shoot in the face sometimes with a jet stream of water? Well, do I have the perfect product for you that I'm going to unbox and go through today on this episode of Beyond EV, your home for everything BYD. Hi everyone, David here from Beyond EV, and today I'm pretty excited because I get to unbox this. This is a prototype that's been sent to me by a company called OUTORO, and they're about to launch a Kickstarter campaign to get this off the ground and into production. But what is it? Well, this thing here is the OUTORO 2-in-1 pressure washer / water blaster. That's right. You can use this thing to pressure wash your car, and when you're not doing that, you can flick a switch and take it to the backyard to hose your kids down with on a hot summer's day. But not only that, what really caught my attention is the fact that this thing here is effectively wireless or cordless. There's no attachments to it. It has an inbuilt water tank, which you can fill with water as well as pre-wash. And it is also fitted with a 4000 milliamp hour battery. Now, I've got a whole list of specs about this product, which I'll go into a bit more detail a little bit later. But for now, let's get the box cutter and get this thing open and see what it actually looks like. So here we have the box that is completely untouched. The only thing I've done is ripped off some labels on it here and there so you guys don't dox me. But I have not actually seen this in person myself. So you're gonna be seeing this with me for the very first time. So let's get the box cutter and get it open. Now this thing is completely wrapped in tape, so I have no qualms that whatever was in this, it was ever gonna fall out of it. Now let's see what we have. All right. So keep in mind, this here is a prototype. There is no commercial packaging or anything like that. What's in here is basically what you would get if you were to buy this as a complete production ready package, but the product itself isn't in its final production phase either. So it might be a little bit rough around the edges. It is a pre-production model, but whatever sort of design flaws that we might see will be ironed out when this actually hits the market. So what I do know is that it comes with a hose fitment. You can fit this hose to the gun and just put this in a bucket and it will suck the water out of the bucket. Now, a lot of pressure hoses that you are familiar with, like Gurneys and Karshers, can do that. So that's what this hose here is for. Put that to the side. It also comes with its own bucket. So this is a collapsible waterproof container. So you can actually use this to house all your hoses and attachments in when it's not in use, but you can also take it out and fill this up with water to make it a bit more portable and a bit more user-friendly when it comes to putting it away at the end. So I'll put that off to the side. Now, I'm assuming in here is the actual product, so let's take a look. Oh, get a look at that. That's looking cool already. Get a load of that. How cool does that thing look? Now, I can tell it's being used because there actually is a little bit of water on it and there's some scrapes here. So I'm assuming this was a test model that they've used, as they did sort of reiterate to me via email that this is nowhere near final production ready. So I'm assuming this was used for testing. But now that it appears that I've got everything out of the box, let's take all of this stuff outside and take a closer look at it. So I'm in the backyard now with everything that came in the package that I just unboxed. So just going through it again, you've got the collapsible bucket, which is made out of a wet bag material, which you'd find if you got a wet bag from Anaconda or something like that. It's quite thick. As I mentioned before, it looks like it's about 20 to 30 litres. You've also got the hose. One end is a standard garden hose connector, and the other end is an open filtered connection. So I believe this would plug into the gun, and you can use this hose to draw straight from your bucket as opposed to straight from a tap. You've also got a USB cable, and of course the gun itself. So as I mentioned earlier, this is just a pre-production model, so any flaws or defects you see on this, that's not what's going to be coming out on the final product. This one here has actually been pre-used by the looks of it. It's been tested a few times and they've sent it out to me because these are the only units they have at the moment. But just going through it, you've got the trigger here, which just triggers like that. You've got the mode selector, so switch it down and that goes into play mode. Switch it up and that goes into wash mode. Up the front, you've got the two nozzles. You've got the lower green nozzle, which is your play mode nozzle, that's the jet blaster, and you've got the 5 nozzle selector for the pressure washer mode. So you've got a pulse stream, solid stream, 0 degrees, which I assume is just one solid jet, 20 degrees, 40 degrees, and 40 degrees is actually the nozzle I use on my standard pressure washer. Down the bottom here, you've got your hose connection, so just pull that off, and it's just a standard garden hose connector. And I was trying to find out where you would place water in this thing, because it doesn't look like there's a lot of room to put water in, but then I was playing around with the sight, and it turns out that the sight moved. So that actually unscrews, and there you have your inbuilt water tank. I'm going to put the specs of this up on the screen right now, but just to go through it, this is the OUTORO NOVA WASHER. It is a 2-in-1 water pressure blaster / water blaster that you can use as sort of like a super soaker. It comes with a 4000 milliamp hour battery, so this can operate completely cordless, and it's also got an inbuilt tank, so it can actually operate completely hoseless as well. You can just walk around with it without any connections whatsoever. Now, given its small form factor, I actually had a level of expectation around this thing given its size and what it would be capable of. Now, in terms of pressure, this has a rated pressure of 2.4 megapascals and has a water flow rate of 180 litres per hour. Now, to put that into perspective, the Karcher K2, that produces 1,800 psi of pressure and about 360 litres an hour of flow rate. Now, 2.4 megapascals is about 350 psi of pressure, so look, significantly less to what you'd get from a Karcher K2 and about half the flow rate, but look at it. It's about 1/5 the size, if that, and it's handheld. You don't have to carry it around with a handle, or it doesn't have wheels on it to drag it along the ground because it's so heavy. To get half the flow rate out of something significantly smaller, significantly less than half its size, I think is actually a pretty good design outcome. So they are the features. Tank can actually be used to put foamy water in, so I would actually use this as a cordless foam cannon. This would actually be perfect for that. When I wash my car, I give it a complete coating with pre-wash using a foam cannon, and that requires mixing and connecting it up to the pressure washer. If I could just load this up and off I went, that would actually be perfect. But it can also be connected to a hose as well if you want to use it as a proper pressure washer. So that's the OUTORO NOVA WASHER in a nutshell. Now let's get this thing up and going and see how it actually operates. All right, so here I am in the backyard with the OUTORO NOVA WASHER. So I'm going to give the play mode a test first and fill her up and see how she goes. So according to the specs, you can get about 30 shots with this. I'd say I'm about 5 meters away from it, but let's give it a shot. Got it. So look, in play mode, I actually think this is pretty good. Like, it's not supposed to be high pressure, and you saw it took a few turns to get that can to fall over, but it's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to hurt. I've got 3 kids, and I think this is the right level of pressure and fun to actually have a pretty good blast with this thing. Yeah, so for play mode, 2 thumbs up from me, because I think this would actually be a lot of fun to use. Alright, so I'm outside at the car now to try and test this out and see what its car washing ability is like. It's been a while since I've washed my car. As you can see, there's quite a bit of dirt on it, but let's see how it goes. Now, I've got 2 buckets set up here. One is going to be a clean water bucket, and the other one will have soapy water in it. Now I'm going to get this end of it, chuck it in the bucket. Now we're going to use the soapy water on the car. And I've got it set to 20 degrees. Now we're all set, let's get going. So with this coat, I'm just trying to get it soapy. I might actually change it to the 40 degree and see how that goes. Alright, that seems pretty well coated. Let's let it sit for a bit and we'll come back to it. Right, I've covered it, so now I'm going to take the hose and chuck it in the clean bucket and draw from that and get all this soapy water off. I'm going to use probably the 40 degree setting, and let's get going. So this is the final result of what we've done here, and look, I would never just hose a car down. I would always give it a contact wash, and as I expected, there's not going to be enough pressure in a handheld gun like this to knock off tough road grime, and I've got some pretty tough road grime here, as you can see here, that hasn't knocked off. But the way I would use this normally would be, I'd probably use this to cover the car in a coat of soapy water, give it a contact wash with a hand mitt, and then use the clean water to rinse it all off again, and I think it would be quite effective in that respect. It's only, what, 2.4 megapascals of pressure. Gonna need a lot more than that to get some of this tough road grime off, but I don't think it's designed for that. I think it's designed to just get a nice even spread of soap around the car. But that's how it is to use the OUTORO 2-in-1 Nova washer to wash a car. Now, as a comparison, I thought I'd just do a quick run with my normal pressure washer, which is a Gurney 3600. It has 1800 psi, so we're talking 5 times the pressure with this gurney. I use it with a handgun with a steel wand and interchangeable tips. This is a 40 degree tip on the end, and I've got it hooked up with a Flexzilla hose, which does not kink. Customized little piece of kit, but it does the job really well. So I'm going to show you how this works on the car, and I haven't really done anything. As you can see, the road grime's still on it, still there, but let's see how this compares to the OUTORO. So as you can see, it's not going to get that stuck on road grime off. Let's try the back.
See, even with the gurney with 5 times the pressure, it's not going to get that stuck on road grime off. You need to do a contact wash. So in terms of the performance of the Autoro, I think it's actually not too bad. This obviously with more pressure and more water flow gets you a wider spread, so you get a bit more coverage. Given the fact that it's cordless, wireless, uses a battery, and it's handheld and has a small form factor, I reckon the Autoro holds itself pretty well.
So that was the Autoro 2-in-1 Nova washer in a nutshell. And I'm gonna leave their website up on the screen, autoro.com, because they are starting a Kickstarter campaign for this device right now as we speak. They're trying to raise some funds to get this off the ground and into production. So jump on their website, autoro.com. You can leave a contribution and even get on the pre-order list to get your hands on one when it finally hits the market. But in the meantime, I'm interested in hearing your thoughts. If this was available right now, would you go out and get one? Let me know down in the comments. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, subscribe to Beyond EV for more BYD related videos. I've got plenty more headed your way. That's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.